We're going to be doing a Nuzlocke tier list, and we're going to rank how viable every Pokemon is. Starting off clean with Venusaur. I think Venusaur is like A tier, mostly because like it's much more favored in its region than a lot of other grass types. And its poison type helps out a lot as well, so it has really good stabs. Giga Drain is nice when if you can get it. Sludge Bomb on the other hand is like fantastic to get. Poison Stab is always good. So yeah, I think Venusaur is pretty good. If you get the option to use Mega Venusaur, it's like so good. It is like so fantastic. The only issue is that like I think even though it's good, I personally found it to be like super underwhelming. So I'm probably gonna have it like bottom of S tier, mostly because like I don't know, personal experience is just like eh. So yeah, Charizard I think is like B tier because it's not too favored for the first 3 gyms. And then by the time you get to the 4th gym in Kanto, you get like a lot of fire types anyways. So like Arcanine. What's with the top of the tier list? A bunch of fully not fully evolved Pokemon. So every single not fully evolved Pokemon, aside from a few exceptions and like other forms, is like here. So yeah. But yeah, overall I think that's what like Charizard is like. In X and Y though, like I think it's a little better, but even so, like you don't get it until the like before the 2nd gym, and it's rock type, and like yeah, I don't think it's that good. Let's see, like oh yeah, in X and Y I think Venusaur is like a lot more favored because like again you get access to its Mega eventually. And we should probably definitely talk about like viability and like different types of Nuzlocks. So, but I think overall like Charizard's like B tier, Venusaur is A tier, and then Mega Venusaur, sure, it's like I think it's underwhelming, but like I think it's pretty good. Moving on to Charizard X, Mega Charizard X. This thing is like fantastic, dude. This thing is like one of the best megas you could possibly use. Aside from ones that are banned personally, but we'll get to that later. So, as a fantastic typing, can't avoid earthquakes though, so that's a yikes. Does remove 4 times rock weakness, which is fantastic. Has a better defense stat, and yeah, if you can get access to physical attacks, this thing is great, dude. It's just awesome. Charizard Y, on the other hand, this thing is still probably really good. I think it's actually worse than well, you could interchange like these 2 are interchangeable personally because like Charizard gets access to a bunch of fire type moves, and especially since it's in like sunlight, it's gonna be ridiculous. And yeah. Still though, you have to have Charizard, which is like eh. I think Charizard Y is like pretty good. Moving on to Blastoise, I think it's like also like B tier. I think the issue with Blastoise is that it is super replaceable. So as such, like there are like other water types that you can get, like Golduck, which is not even that good. Tentacruel's fantastic. Poliwrath is super good. Then we're looking at Lapras and Gyarados. But yeah, overall, I think Blastoise is like eh. Now, Mega Blastoise, on the other hand, it obviously gets a little better. Albeit like not much better. But I have used it in like my X doubles hardcore Nuzlocke. And I thought it was pretty damn good. Access to Water Pulse and such is like really good. I think Dark Pulse and Aura Sphere are available by Move Relearner. And yeah, I think this is a really good mega. Obviously, it's like replaceable again. There are better megas to use, but yeah, overall, I think it's like pretty good. Now, Butterfree. Here's my hot take. I think this thing is fantastic for Nuzlocke because Compound Eyes. This thing's like really good in the early game, but also Compound Eyes in particular. I think Butterfree's ability Compound Eyes is just like good overall because like you can actually find more Pokemon with items because that's the out of battle effect. So yeah, like Butterfree, it falls off in the mid game, and then obviously you don't use this thing in the late game, but it's fantastic in the early game. Beedrill. I think Beedrill is like, I think it's like worse than Butterfree because it doesn't have a good ability and all. I think it's like moveset is like okay, but the issue is like it's not good. I don't think it's that good. But I think early game it actually performs really well. Grass types tend to be pretty common in the early game. Now the issue is like, so you will get access to this thing in like Oras, but yeah, I think like Mega Beedrill is like good as well. The issue is obviously that it's like super frail. It is obscenely frail, but it hits so hard, dude. Holy shit, dude. It hits so hard. It's not even funny how hard it hits. But yeah, I think its frailty is what keeps it down. I think it's like not the best mega, but it getting a mega is like an absolute improvement though. Maybe this thing's like low C tier. I don't know. I'll keep it here for now. I'll find out later. Oh, chat, should I bring you guys on stream actually? That would help, huh? There you go, little bubbies. Pidgeot, I think is like pretty okay. It's good early game. Like Pidgey is like okay early game. The only issue is like it depends on like what game you're playing it with. So if you are using it in like Red, Blue, Yellow, this thing's like not as good early game. But in Gold, Silver, Crystal, this thing's like a lot better. Especially like for Bugsy. And then in X and Y, if you manage to get this, then it's like pretty fantastic for the first gym. Not as good for the second gym, but you can use it as a pivot. And that's actually true for the first gym too. But I don't know. I think this thing's pretty okay. Mega Pidgeot, here's the thing. I think it is A tier, but also you could make a borderline tier for it. Like, I think it's like between A and B. It might honestly be like high B tier. My reasoning is because by the time you get it, it's like too late to use Mega Pidgeot because the only game that it's like usable in is Oras, at least for Nuzlocking. So yeah, I think this thing is like high B tier because you have to consider like by the time you get it, like what do you replace for Mega Pidgeot? Like sure, No Guard Hurricane is like great, but I think it's like, nah, I don't want to use this thing in replacement of like say Mega Gyarados, for example, or like Mega Alakazam. I think Raticate's pretty good. Early game hits hard, has Hyper Fang, good attacks, but overall it gets carried by the fact that it has Guts. So you can like pre-status before a fight or something like that, and overall it's like pretty good. Now Alolan Eradicate, on the other hand, I think is like the first C tier Pokemon because this thing does not get Guts. It has an overall worse defensive typing, and it doesn't hit hard. I think it's a little faster. I can't recall. Yep, this thing does not hit as hard. It's actually slower. Yeah, this thing is awful, man. Alright then. Firo, it's like same thing as Pidgeot, except I think it hits slightly harder and it's like a physical attacker overall. I think it's okay. It might actually be a little better, honestly. Arbok has Intimidate, but that's it. That's all it has. I think overall it's like, it could be better. Has a nice moveset, if you manage to get like TMs and stuff for it, but it's just bad. I don't think it's that good. Pikachu. Pikachu. I'm gonna rate Pikachu and Raichu separately. More so like if you, well, Light Ball isn't that. I mean, I've seen people use Pikachu before. I have also used it before, but like I think overall it's like not that good. If you manage to get a Light Ball, I think it's like a little better, maybe like B tier, but like I think it's like right here. Raichu. I think Raichu's pretty good because it's fast, has a lot of utility. I think it even gets access to Encore, I think? It gets access to Encore as an egg move. Okay. Alright, this makes it a tiny bit worse then. The problem with Raichu is that its move pool is like, but it can make it work. Yeah, I think this thing's like right here. Now, Alolan Raichu, on the other hand, is like one of the better Pokemon to use. It's exclusive to Sun, Moon, and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But damn, this thing is good. It's actually so damn good. Electric Psychic, sure it has like no ability to take advantage of, because who's gonna be using Electric Terrain, and yeah, like you're not gonna be using Tapu Koko. I don't think, at least. I mean, it's good, but like you won't be using it like with this because types overlap. But overall, I think Alolan Raichu is like fantastic. Sandslash, it's a ground type. I think it's like pretty decent. It could have like better stats though, and it doesn't get Earthquake in its move pool until Black 2, White 2, which makes it kinda bad, but I think it gets to stay right here. On the other hand, I think like Alolan Sandslash is like slightly worse than it. Maybe I might change the order of this at some point, but overall I think like Alolan Sandslash is like kind of worse because it has like a lot more weaknesses. Ground itself is just a really good typing overall, especially if you have it solo. So Nidoqueen. Okay, let's try not to be biased here. I think if you get TMs for it, this thing's like top of A tier, mostly because this thing's move pool is like super expansive, and it's really bulky, and overall I think it's a good Pokemon. So yeah, we're not gonna do all of the tier list today, by the way. It's no way. There's no way, dude. I think I might do like 3 generations, maybe 4. But yeah, I think Nidoqueen is like great. Poison type and ground type is like really good defensively. So, and then like its bulk again is like fantastic. Nidoking, on the other hand, I think is like slightly worse, but not even. Again, you can like change these 2 places around. But I personally think that Nidoqueen is like a little better. So, yeah, it has the same like, it has sort of the same move pool aside from like Mega Horn and say like Sucker Punch maybe. Because I know Nidoking gets that for some reason, but overall I think it's like slightly worse because it has like a little less bulk. I have no idea what they're cheering about. So this is a really weird case, right? Clefable, depending on what game you're playing, could be like either low C tier or like high A tier, maybe even like low S tier. But I think, to average it out, I think it's like right over, say, like here. because let's run it down real quick. So in Gen 1, this thing is like not that good. Gen 2, it gets slightly better because it gets a little more bulk, I'm pretty sure. In Gen 3, it gets like a lot of support moves. In Gen 4, Magic Guard, fantastic ability. Gen 5, Unaware, but that's like hidden ability. Also, you get like Minimize and stuff. Stored Power is ridiculous. I think that's maybe Gen 6 though. But Fairy type is like fantastic for it. So, yeah. I think overall, this thing is like here. But again, you can like definitely change it up wherever you're like, whatever game you're playing. But I think overall, this thing's like really good. This thing on the other hand is like really interesting. I've personally never used it, so I can't rank it. But I do want to say like, I think it's like a little crazy. I think it's a little crazy. But that's from what I've seen other people do with it. Ninetales, okay. I think this is like... I think it's like... maybe here? My only issue with it is that it's not really strong. It's not that strong is the thing. And plus, I think its move pool is like complete and utter garbage as like if you get it like immediately as a Ninetales. Vulpix on the other hand, like I think it gets like a lot more moves for Ninetales to take advantage of. So oh, both get Nasty Plot, huh? Okay, never mind. This thing's pretty good then. Why is Alolan Ninetales got Encore? Hold up. Wait, that's actually kind of busted. Okay, yeah. I think Ninetales is like pretty good because it actually has a boosting option now. So yeah, that moves it up a little bit. I think Wigglytuff is like a worse Clefable. It has not as useful defensive typing, and I think overall it's like HP is like a little too hard to manage sometimes in like early game especially. Because if you want to heal it with like a potion, first of all, you're going to be healing it really slowly. But second off, this thing just has a shit ton of HP. You can't heal it all. And plus, it's like bulk is actually not that good aside from HP. So, yeah. I think Golbat is like low C tier. Mostly because like Crobat literally exists in like every single game except for Gen 1, but by the time like you decide to use it in Gen 1, you have like a lot of better Pokemon anyway. Zubat I would actually be disappointed to get in any other game aside from RBY. I think you can actually get Crobat in Fire Red Leaf Green, but it's like RBY is like really bad. But I think it's actually I'll put it in B tier because like Zubat's still generally a fantastic encounter. I think Vileplume is like defensively good. I need to be careful of like bias here because like Emerald Kaizo is like making me think, oh, the leap counter, haha. But I think overall Vileplume is like pretty good. Defensively it's fantastic. It has a lot of support options. The issue is like offensively, so yeah. I think it gets better in the more recent generations, but like in like gens 3, 4 or something like that, it gets like it's like pretty okay. Ooh, Parasite. Oh man, welcome to probably the first F tier like Pokemon. This thing is just not good. It gets Spore way too late, and by the time you get it, it's completely outclassed by a shit ton of other Pokemon. And like, why would you use this thing? Why would you actually like use this at all? If you're using it as like a pivot, maybe, but like I don't know, this thing's just not good. Venomoth, again, it's a weird thing where it gets better each generation. So yeah, I think it's like. It might be like... Oh, this thing gets Quiver Dance, right? Okay, alright then, hang on. I'm honestly thinking it's like right here. Do I think it's better than... this? Probably. Also, Ninetales is probably just here. But yeah, I think Venomoth is like fantastic, especially with like Quiver Dance. If it doesn't have Quiver Dance, that's probably gonna be like C tier, but since it does get it, especially in like more recent generation, I think it's like pretty good. Alolan Dugtrio, it can actually like swap into like attacks and stuff. It doesn't have Arena Trap, so it's honestly fine. It's whatever, because Nuzlocke's like typically don't have a lot of switching unless you're in like say Radical Red. But I think overall, because this thing hits a lot harder, and it has a Steel type, I think this thing is like pretty darn good. Do I think it's better than Venomoth though? I mean, the problem is that it's really frail still, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's like that. And then like Dugtrio, I think is like a lot worse than Alolan Dugtrio. Persian is like, I don't know how to rank it. I don't think it's that good. I think it's like really bad, right? Persian's like not good. It might be C tier. I think it's like right here. Alolan Persian though, on the other hand, like I think defensively is like a lot better, but even like not too much better. I want to see actually its moves. I think it gets Nasty Plot, but I'm unsure. Okay, so it gets Fake Out. It does get Nasty Plot. Okay, good to know. And so does regular Persian. Okay, all right, that boosts it a little bit. Its special move pool is actually not bad either. It both get Hypnosis, so it's pretty good. Parting Shot. Oh yeah, Parting Shot. Oh dude, Parting Shot is so good actually. Wait, this makes it a lot better than like a lot of other like Pokemon. I think this will be right here then. Golduck, this is a tough one to say. Swift Swim, does this thing get Swift Swim? I can't recall. I think it's Damp and Cloud 9, right? That's Psyduck might be. Okay, yeah, Damp, Cloud 9. I think this thing's like pretty okay. It can like close explosions, and Cloud 9 I think is like a little worse as an ability, but I think overall it's like still pretty good. Do I think it's better than, I think it's right here or something. Primeape is pretty good. Fighting type, I think this is the first fighting type here actually. This thing's pretty good. And I think especially with like reversal strats, you can use that. It has a pretty expansive move pool now, so I'd say it's like, I think like right here. Arcanine gets Intimidate, but even if you don't get Intimidate, it has Flash Fire, which is still pretty decent. You can swap into fire type attacks and use it for yourself. I think this thing is like S tier. It's one of the best encounters you could possibly get. If you get an Intimidate Growlithe, you're not upset at all whatsoever. Poliwrath, it's another fighting type, water type fighting type and all that. But I think overall this thing's like pretty decent. It has a very good amount of bulk. So do I think it's better than Blastoise though? I don't think so. Because you get the access to its Mega, so yeah, I think Blastoise is like slightly better just because of Mega. Kadabra I think is like really good. It's one of the best encounters you could possibly get if you catch it as an Abra. So I think it's like right here. And then Alakazam is like S tier, 100%. 100% S tier. This thing is like way too good to not be S tier. On the other hand, like I also think that like Mega Alakazam's like slightly better, but like it doesn't like outdamage Alakazam by a large margin. I think overall you could justify like not banning it, but I do see why you could potentially ban it. Machoke is like C tier. It's just your average fighting type and all that. But Machamp is like fantastic, dude. It's not that slow. I think it even has access to Guts, so it's like it really hits hard. It gets a little worse with like the fairy types and all that, but I think also it's like really good anyways. Expansive move pool, has a bunch of like types it can cover with like Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Bullet Punch and all that. Thunder Punch, Stone Edge, Rock Slide. Oh, by the way, No Guard Machamp is like underrated as hell. Sure, Guts is like much better, but you could also make use of like No Guard. Victory Bell is like interesting. It's a chlorophyll sweeper, so it pairs nicely with like hidden ability Ninetales, but like if you don't have it, if you don't have Drought Ninetales, it's still like pretty darn awesome. Do I think it's better than Vileplume? I think so. You usually prefer like more offensive options. Tentacruel's like fantastic. A tier. It's easy A tier, dude. I think I'll put it like right here. Mostly because Special Bulk is like great. Tentacruel is like a great encounter overall. And has a good defensive type. Has like access to like say Scald. Has like a bunch of like poisoning options and all. Do I think it's like... I think it's like viable in like every single game, except maybe, no, this thing's viable in every single game. I think this is just really good. Graveler and Golem are both A tier just because of Geodude being a fantastic encounter in the early game, and even in like mid or late game, these are like still pretty darn good. Same thing goes for like Alolan Graveler and Golem, but they're like slightly worse because it's not rock ground, it's actually rock electric. So it's like, yeah. But I think they're still, you can like argue like, yeah, these are pretty darn good. I've never used this thing though, it's probably pretty underwhelming in my opinion. Rapidash you can make work, but I don't see any reason to use it when you like have like say Arcanine or Charizard and all that. Like you could even have like Magmar, well, no, Magmar you could probably argue against, but yeah, I think this is like right here, honestly. I don't think Rapidash is that good. It has a pretty expansive move pool, but not as expansive as like say it okay, Nidoking's kind of cheating, but Machamp, for example. Never use this thing either. It's probably ridiculous though. Slowbro is like S tier in my opinion. I think Slowbro is like S tier just because of the fact that its physical defense is like great, its water psychic type is fantastic, and overall has a good recovery and slack off. If you don't have slack off, this thing is like still fantastic. Just pair it with like leftovers or something. I would argue that Mega Slowbro is slightly worse because you're restricted to using your Mega Stone for it, and plus you have like a lot of like better Megas to like use. That's what I think. But you do get Shell Armor actually, which is like actually pretty good. Okay, never mind. This thing might be like right here actually. You can I can like argue using Mega Slowbro because of Shell Armor. So, yeah, this thing's like really, really, really good. Magneton's fantastic. I think it's like high A tier just because Steel type, and also like on paper Magnet Pull doesn't sound that good, but you have to keep in mind Magnet Pull also attracts a lot of Steel type Pokemon, and wouldn't you know, Steel types are really, really good in Nuzlocke. So, yeah. Getting the option to use more Steel types is so good, dude. Oh my god. Farfetch'd, why would you use this thing, honestly? It's just not good. It's not good. You have a fucking leak. It's like the only thing that this thing gets is a fucking leak. Why would you use it? Dodrio, I can actually argue for using. I think it's like right here, just because it's really, really strong, has good coverage. Especially in Sun and Moon, if you manage to get one. Can you even get one? You cannot. Okay, never mind. So we have to like discount this. I still think this is like really good, but I think it's like right here. Honestly, Machamp is probably like ranked really low. It's like probably right here. Dugong. Nobody say anything. But I think Dugong is like pretty darn good as a pivot, especially. I think it gets thick fat, if I recall. I remember in Gold, Silver, Crystal, I always, like as a kid, I always had trouble trying to feint Dugongs and all that. but I was probably using like fire type attacks on it as a Quilava or something like that. I'm not sure. This thing does get thick fat. That's really good. That is actually really good, actually. So yeah, I think overall, I think it's like right here. Not extraordinary, but also not bad. Muck is like, it has good stats, but its move pool and all is like not good. However, Alolan Muck is fantastic. Dark typing added onto its poison type, making its only weakness ground. Yes, please. Gets knockoff if for some reason your opponent is holding an item, which happens a lot in the late game of like recent games or something. Yes, please. And overall, it's just a really, really, really good Pokemon. I think this is like high A tier. Cloyster I think gets shell armor, if I'm not mistaken. But if it doesn't, it's like pretty okay. Or maybe I'm thinking of Emerald Kaizo. It does get shell armor, but you also get skill link. So yeah, this thing's like really, 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 really good. Do I think it's better than Tentacruel though? I would say no. The problem is that its special defense is really low, but its physical defense is great, dude. Like, oh my god. But it's like slightly worsened because of its like low HP. I think it's like, actually I don't know. It might be like right here. Maybe even like, nah, I think it's like right here. Haunter is like fantastic. If you get this thing, you're not gonna be upset because this thing is really fast, has a ghost and poison typing, high special attack, it has the same special attack as Raikou actually. So, or I think higher maybe, I don't know. I think Haunter is like high B tier. Do I think it's like better than Golem or? Yeah, I think it's because like Haunter is like a lot more readily available. It might actually be low A tier in my opinion. Gengar I think is like high A tier. I don't think it's better than Magnezone or Magneton just because of the fact that Ghost Poison, first off, it's a really good offensive typing. Second off, it gets Levitate in most of the games that it's in. Third of all, Curse Body is not that bad of an ability. But fourth of all, it hits really, really hard and it's really, really fast. So I think this is like a godlike Pokemon. Now, I'm personally gonna ban Mega Gengar. On paper, it doesn't seem like it'll do much. But also, and especially in like the more recent games, I don't know. This one's tough. This one's tough to say because like obviously like AI doesn't switch that often, but whenever it needs to, like it will try and go for it. The issue is like Mega Gengar prevents that, and it hits really hard. Actually, it becomes a lot faster. It hits a lot harder. But this one's tough. This one's actually really tough. I don't know if I want to actually like. What does Gengar get? Does it get any like boosting options? Because if so, it could definitely utilize that. I mean, you could use Destiny Bond gimmicks with it. Oh, you could taunt and toxic. Oh god, that's so good. Wait, this thing's like so broken. Hello? Will-O-Wisp? And it can't swap? Perish Song? Okay, no, this egg moves. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say. Yeah, I think overall this thing's like really, really good. I would argue banning Mega Gengar, so. But I do see why. If you don't ban it, it's probably like one of the best Pokemon that you can get. But I'm personally gonna ban it. Onix is like complete and utter garbage. The only reason you want this is because like if you can get Steelix, this would become like really, really good. I do think, however, it does have a niche over like other Pokemon because if you use it as like a defensive wall, you can actually like heal a bunch of other Pokemon. So yeah, there you go. Onix can be used for pivoting. Hypno is like, do I think Hypno's good? I think it's definitely like good, but is it A tier good? I don't think so. I think it's like right here. Only issue with it is that it doesn't hit that hard. Sure, it has like a good move pool. I think it gets access to Nasty Plot. If it does, it'll make it like slightly better, but like I think it's like pretty okay. Yeah, it gets Nasty Plot. Okay, this makes it like slightly better because like Blastoise, Charizard, and even Pidgeot doesn't have a boosting option. So, well, other than Pidgeot with Workup, but I don't know if you use that. Actually, you probably would. But you're getting hit a lot anyway, so. Mega Beedrill is broken, what do you mean? The issue with Mega Beedrill, I think you can definitely put it like up here. But the issue is that Mega Beedrill is like super frail. It dies to like a feather. It literally dies to a feather. So that's why I think it's like A tier. Maybe I'm underrating it because I haven't had much experience with it, but I think overall it's just like eh. Like I think it's good, but I don't think it's that good. So Kingler is like underrated in my opinion. I think it's like pretty good. I mean, I think it gets Swords Dance, but even if you don't have it, it's like pretty okay. I think it's like probably like right here. Let me actually see Kingler. First of all, like, does it get like a good ability and it doesn't have like a boosting option? It probably does, but I want to just make sure. It does get Shell Armor. That's pretty good. It gets Hyper Cutter, so it can't be intimidated. Gets Crab Hammer at level 56. Do I want to use that at that point? It gets Swords Dance. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, I think it's like maybe like right here. The problem is that like I think it's like really slow, so like you won't get much time to set up. So by the way, the top part is like other forms of like not fully evolved Pokemon. So yeah, every like single not fully evolved Pokemon aside from a few exceptions and other forms is like there. Electrode is like pretty good just because of how fast it is. And then I think it's like okay. It doesn't hit, it hits hard, but it doesn't hit that hard. So I think it's like maybe it's like right here. I feel like this thing's like not as good as regular Exeggutor just because of like its amount of weaknesses. Like especially Ice is like not that good. And like Flying is a really common type. I think overall like Alolan Exeggutor is like meh. Do I think it's better than definitely better than this too. I think it's like good as here. Electro is trash. I actually want to see its like stats. Hang on. Let's see its stats. I think it had like 100 special attack, right? Oh, nope, never mind. This thing is like pretty awful now. Never mind. I thought it had like 100 special attack. That would be pretty insane. This thing's like bopped a lot lower. Wow. Alright, Exeggutor is like pretty good. The only issue is I haven't had much experience with it. I've almost never used it. But I think overall it's like pretty darn good. Getting access to Sleep Powder is like pretty awesome, and Psychic type. If it had its moveset minus the grass typing, this thing would be like so good, dude. But I think since it's grass type, it like gets a little bogged down like here. Honestly, I think Electrode's like ranked a little too high. It might be like low, like high C tier. Marowak. The problem is it's really dependent on you getting a thick club for it. So if you have it, this thing's like high B tier. But if you don't, I think it's like here. So I'll average it out. I think it's like okay. I think it's like right here. I think it's like worse than... Actually, it might be better than Dugtrio. I'm not sure. I'm gonna put it below for now. Alolan Dugtrio. Dugtrio. Alolan Marowak is like... It has a better offensive typing, but it's also worse defensively. So I'm kind of inclined to put it down here. Again, you probably want to get a thick club for this. Actually, no. Wait, defensively it might be better. Do I want to put it here? Probably. Honestly, Clefable's like ranked really low. I think it's like right here. Hitmonlee, it's frail, but also like hits pretty hard. I think it's like pretty okay. Do I think it's better than Primeape though? Not really. Hitmonlee has good moves, it has good coverage. I actually want to see. Usually I get impressed by the movesets that the move pool that like these Pokemon get. Okay, so it gets close combat by level up. Well, this Gen 7, okay. High Jump Kick, Blaze Kick, Earthquake, Rock Tomb, and all that. Stone Edge, Bulldoze, Rock Slide, Poison Jab. This thing gets Fake Out at level 1. Oh my god. Alright, so if you get that, then that's pretty good. Okay, alright. I think this thing's slightly better than here. I got Gene today. That's pretty cool. Hitmonchan is like worse than Hitmonlee, no? It doesn't hit as hard, and it's just like not as good, I don't think. It does have better coverage though. Is it better than Hitmonlee? I don't think so. It might not even be better than Primeape. Honestly, Arbok is like ranked a little too high in my opinion. I think it's like right here. It's definitely like interchangeable. Like these are changed. A bit worse. Yeah. I think it's like not as good. Lickitung is like complete and utter garbage, no? Like it has bulk, but I don't know. It has a niche, but you could fulfill that with a lot of other Pokemon. Say if you don't have like Clefable, then you have like Wigglytuff or something. I've never used this thing before, but it's probably pretty okay. Weezing, hot take here, but I think Weezing is like high. I think this thing's like high B, low A, and here's my reasoning. Levitate and like a defense stat is like fantastic. It's a super attractive choice, especially in like the more recent generations. I think overall this thing's like really good. Weezing is like great. Neutralizing gas stops Intimidate. Yeah, that too. But even then, it's not affected much by Intimidate unless you're like exploding or something. So I actually do want to check. I don't think Neutralizing Gas is a hidden ability. It's good in double battles. Yeah, but unless you're in like say a specific game that really capitalizes on double battles, this thing's like it's a regular ability. Yeah, this thing's like really good. Yeah. Yeah, it's both. It's both forms. Okay, yeah, this thing's like fantastic. This thing's like really good. I think it's like low A tier, honestly. But the problem is with like double battles, like how often do you get into double battles really? Not very often. Unless you're in like Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald and all that, like the Gen 3 games or something. Let's see. Rhydon is like good, right? Rhydon's like really, really good, no? The issue with it is that it's really, really, really late. You get it really late, but I think overall this thing's like really, really good. Is it better than Raichu, Alolan Raichu? I mean, it's hard to say because Alolan Raichu is available in like 1 or 2 games. I'm inclined to believe that Rhydon's like right here. It's a good place for it. Rhydon, these nuts, haha, alright. Chansey is like busted. Chansey is like really good in Gen 1. Like you could place it like S tier maybe, but like in the rest of the games it's like high A tier still. But I do like think that like Chansey's like really good, especially if you get Eviolite with it. Okay, no, actually this thing's like busted as hell. If you get Eviolite with it, it's so damn good. However, when do you get Seismic Toss on Chansey? Oh, it gets minimized? Oh, yeah, alright. So immediately, really good. Now my issue with this... Yeah, I know Blissey's Gen 2. I know Blissey's Gen 2. It's just like if you get a Chansey with an Eviolite in like the Gen 5 and upwards, like so good. But even in like the older gens, it's like really good. So when does this thing get seismic toss? As an egg move. Okay, alright. So I think you're like slightly worse. Because you have to remember, 5 attack stat, 35 special attack, it doesn't hit hard is the issue. That's my only concern. But I think with a utility, it's like really good. I don't know. I think it's like high A tier at the very least, but no less. You could argue with like high, like S though. Seismic toss. I know it doesn't get it as like level up though. That's the only issue that I have with Chansey. I'll go with S tier. Tangela is like not good, right? It's just not good, right? I mean, defensively it's okay. No, this thing's like low C tier. It's just not good. Kangaskhan is like okay. I think it's like better than these normal types here. So, yeah. Eviolite Tangela is pretty good. Okay, like if you get an Eviolite with it, it's like a little better. It's not going out of S, like C tier though. Mega Kangaskhan's banned, 100%. The fact that you can hit twice in one attack is pretty damn insane. So, yeah, this thing is just like banned because of its ability. Normal type is like not as good as like offensive typing, but it makes up for it with like improved stats and oh, might I mention its ability is insane? If I didn't mention that already. Seadra's like okay. I don't know. Normal is good in Gen 1? Yeah, but you don't have Mega Kangaskhan in Gen 1. What? I think it's like right here. Sea King, if you have Lightning Rod, it gets a little better, like low B tier, but like typically it's like right here. Starmie is fantastic. It's one of the best Pokemon that you could potentially get. I don't think it's better than Gengar though. My reasoning for like Starmie, especially if you run like bulky Starmie, offensively it's obviously like really good, but defensively, if you run it bulky with speed, oh my god, it's so good. Oh man. Running it with like Scald or something is like so good. I actually want to see its move pool. I want to be impressed. Show me its good move pool. I think this thing even gets like, say, like Thunderbolt, right? It gets Flash Cannon for some reason. That's ridiculous. That's so good. What the hell? This thing's broken. This thing is broken, dude. And Natural Cure, holy shit. Okay, yeah, this thing's like one of the best Pokemon that you can potentially get in like your Nuzlocke. Mr. Mime, I think is really good. I think Mr. Mime's like really good in Gen 1, but in Gen 2, like and onward, it gets like a little worse. If it was like still Gen 1, then like it would be like A tier, but I think it's like okay. Do I think it's better than Kangaskhan? Oh, well, we have to keep in mind Fairy type is like a thing. Okay, yeah, this thing is like a lot better than like a bunch of these like Pokemon here, especially like Hypno. Honestly, I think Charizard's like ranked a little too high. I think it's like right here. Ninetales being like right here or something. Okay. Scyther, this one's hard to say. This one's really hard to say. Is Scyther like good? I think before Technician, it's like meh. I want to say that like Scyther is like low B tier. I mean, in the games that's available in, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be as good as like some other Pokemon. I do think it's better than Persian though. Its move pool especially is like just not good, and like okay, yeah, I think it's like right here maybe. Honestly, I think Muk is like a high C tier. So in Gen 1, I think Jinx is like borderline S tier, but since we have like more generations and stuff and Jinx has not received many new buffs and all, I think it's like high B tier, maybe low A tier. That's what I think. I think like Jinx is like overall like pretty darn good. Do I think it's better than Mega Pidgeot though? I'll put it here. Okay, so Parasect should be higher because of Emerald Kai, so you know what's funny is that I actually did mention that. Yeah, man. Electabuzz, it's frail. I don't think it's better than Raichu. I think it's like right here. I think Magmar is like a little worse off, so it's either high C or low B. I don't know. I think it's like right here. Pinsir is like not good. I don't feel like. I feel like Pinsir is not that good. I want to say it's like right here. And then Mega Pinsir is like really good. My issue with it though is that it's not as fast as you want it to be, really. It's really hard to say. I think it's like right here. Is it better than Weezing? Probably. I think it's better than Haunter too. Tauros is like, in Gen 1 is like one of the best Pokemon in the game. But like nowadays, I think it's still like pretty good. Is it better than Kingler? I think so. I'll put it here. Gyarados is S tier. It's one of the best Pokemon that you could potentially get in like any Nuzlocke. Intimidate with like a good typing and overall is like so freaking good. If you get access to like Earthquake, it's like pretty darn good. Dragon Dance as well, great Pokemon. On the other hand, I would argue banning Mega Gyarados. So yeah, yeah. Wow, how anticlimactic is that? Tauros gets Intimidate? Oh yeah, I guess so. Alright, I think it's pretty good. It bumps it up a little bit. I think I argue banning Mega Gyarados just because of how ridiculous it is. Don't ban Mega Gyarados. Mega Gyarados is not that good. Really? That's quite the hot take. Oh goodness. Okay, so here's what I think. I think you want to probably use Mega Gyarados if you have like no other Mega. But even then, I think it's also like so damn good. I personally argue for banning Mega Gyarados. That's what I think. If you don't ban it, then you could put it like right here. But I just personally put it here. False misinformation. Alright then. Alright, Lapras is pretty darn good. Really bulky. Only problem is my issue with it is that it doesn't have access to Scald. But other than that, it's like pretty darn good. Do I think it's better than Tentacruel? No, I don't think so. I think it's like right here. Ditto is really hard to judge. Oh my god. So if you don't have hidden ability, then it's things like F tier, because it's like impossible to grind. If you get Imposter, then like this thing is like pretty okay. The issue with it is that grinding is fucking awful with Imposter. Choice Scarf Imposter Ditto is good. Okay, but that's in competitive. You're not gonna get a Choice Scarf a lot of the time in like your Nuzlocks and all. And even if you do, you're locked into like one move. So I think it's like, I think overall it's just like really, really bad. You could make a niche for it, but I don't know. I don't think it's that good. Vaporeon's pretty darn awesome. It's a bulky water type, pretty good. I don't think it's better than Tentacruel though, but it's really, really good defensively. Jolteon's like super similar because like fast electric type and all, just because like, I don't know, its coverage is pretty good. Do I want to... I think I'll put it right here. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm assuming you're talking about Ditto still. Ditto, it's not in black and white. And if you get it in black 2, white 2, it's like super late in it's gonna be like super late game. And even then, I have to check Gen 5. In black 2, white 2, you have to get it in a hidden grotto, and who's gonna be using the infinite hidden grotto strat? So, I don't know. I don't think it's that good. Flareon is like really bad, right? Before Gen 6, it's like almost C tier, right? And then in Gen 6 and onwards, like okay, but I don't think it's better than Magmar. I'm mainly talking about competitive because this thing is insane in Ubers and AG. Yeah, but that's in competitive though. Flareon is good with guts. Oh, this thing gets guts, huh? Okay, never mind. This thing makes it slightly better. Porygon is like really bad, I feel like. Hello, C tier. Honestly, I think Lickitung is like better than it. Flareon has base 140 attack, but yeah, before Gen 6, it doesn't have a good stab move. Its best attacking move is Fire Fang. That's stab. Amistar, I think it gets shell. Oh god, I have to look again. I think this thing gets shell armor. Yeah, it does get shell armor. Okay, that's pretty good. And it gets Swift Swim as well, which is also really good. Porygon learns Hyper Beam in Pokemon Quest. Copium. It gets Facade. Yeah, I know. Alright then. I think it's pretty okay then. Amistar is like pretty darn good. You're not going to be using Swift Swim too often, but if you do, it's like pretty darn amazing. Do I think it's better than Dewgong? I think it's like pretty okay. Copium? I think Kabutops is like a lot better than like all these here. Do I think it's better than Blastoise though? I think slightly, yeah. Honestly, I think Amistar is like also like really good too. So, Emerald Kaizo flashbacks. I know, right? Aerodactyl. It's fast, but the issue is like accessibility. Okay, so in red, blue, yellow, this thing's like really bad, so you wouldn't do it. I think gold, silver, crystal's like late game. I think in Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and like Colosseums we're not gonna consider. But I think overall like Gen 3 is like pretty okay. I think this is like late game, maybe? Yeah, I think in Fire Red, Leaf Green it's pretty okay. I'd say it's like right here. I don't think it's better than Alolan Golem though. Ugly Sonic is faster. Dude, I don't understand why that exists. Why does that exist, dude? Mega Aerodactyl. See, by the time you get the Aerodactylite, well, actually, you could use it. You could use it, is the thing. I'm gonna put it in, like, high A tier. The only issue is, like, you only have accessibility to it in X and Y. But it's pretty good anyway, so. Oh, especially, oh my god, hang on. Don't you get this in, the cave where you first find a Team Flare Grunt? After finding the scientist and glittering. Okay, no, this thing is like, it's free mega, pretty much. It's a free mega if you get a fossil for it. You can even choose like which fossil that you put in, so yeah. I think this is like really, really, really good. Snorlax is like one of the best Pokemon that you can get in like your Nuzlocke. Super bulky, has great bulk, aside from defense, but even then, it's like pretty good. Body Slam and all that, has recovery. I think it's one of the best Pokemon that you can get in your Nuzlocke, so. I've never used this thing before, but it's probably pretty okay. Articuno, you could like say it's like really good, but the problem is after Gen 1, it's like not as good. I think I want to put in like low A tier. I think it's like right there. I've never used this though. Zapdos, you could, I think it's like S tier, but you could argue banning it, to be honest. I don't know. I'd put Zapdos like right here. Galarian Articuno is not that okay, but like in Nuzlocke, it's like is it better? Because like if that were the case, if we were going off of competitive, then Doug Trio would be fantastic. But Doug Trio's like right over here. I've never used Galarian Moltres before. Moltres is honestly not that good. It's just slightly better than Charizard. Dragonite is like S tier. It's like borderline broken, cause Dragon Dance, you can actually get Dragon Dance, so yeah, and like accessibility is like pretty okay. I actually want to see, cause fun fact, you can yeah, Dragonite is like super late game, but I think in like we'll check it out. Let's see. I think like, yeah, Safari Zone for like Red, Blue, Yellow, and all that, like Kanto. I think Gold, Silver, Crystal. It's a free Dratini in the Dragon's Den. Oh, that's right. You have to consider like levels. Fuck, dude. This thing's so ridiculous. Okay, I'd still say that this is like S tier though. So, why is Hisuian Sliggoo S tier? It is not S tier. It's just like every single not fully evolved Pokemon aside from a few exceptions and like other forms and all. So yeah, I think Dragonite's like really good. If you get E-Speed on this thing as well, it's like, oh my god, this thing is like good. Might even like be banned as well. Mewtwo's obviously banned, Mega Mewtwo is banned, Mewtwo Y is banned, and I honestly, I've considered banning Mew as well. I'd honestly probably ban it. So, yeah. Alright, that's Gen 1. What a fun day this was, huh?